Then details you shall receive because we're back again. Oh my god, I just realized that stream. Dude, I've been having nothing but problems this morning. It's been pain. If anyone realized, I was trying to stream at 11 o'clock and then well, it wasn't working. Basically what I ended up having to do was switch servers to connect to so I can restream. Restream is like really like nothing but a pain to me. Seriously. But I got it up and running. I had to reconnect servers to like San Diego instead of Seattle, but whatever. Anyways though. What's up guys? Appreciate everyone coming by. You know, we're just doing I just feel like it's a Sunday chat, what we're going to do, right? Gonna hang out with you guys. And also, I did get some more information about the whole Joseph Staten thing. Not that, like, I think the end game of this whole thing is kind of like a bunch of nonsense. And it's not going to change anything. Like, if we know the truth, is anything going to be different? That's kind of my whole thing. Certain Infinity should hire Leto. I'm sure Certain Infinity has like an art director kind of position, and they already have Max Hoberman at the wheel and stuff. I mean, it would be nice to hire these Bungie employees back, but I don't know if it would really be that beneficial. Is Joe allowed to say anything on the topic? I don't think he ever will, because I don't think it's a good look. Because it's something that, you know, news reporters and YouTubers can discuss, because, well, we're not talking to people in our industry, right? We're talking about each other, right? We're talking about just between us, you know, the public, just chatting, a court of public opinion, right? But the thing is, like, if Joseph Staten comes out saying, like, yeah, 343 fired me, or Microsoft fired me, and they're a bunch of jerks, that's not a good look on his end. Because that means that like people in his industry would know him as like, I don't know, a guy who would make their company look bad. And that's something that companies absolutely do not want. You know? So you'll never hear it from Joseph saying like, unless he's like, he didn't even say, he already said that he's leaving Microsoft. That's literally a tweet that he said. Now, that could be maybe more public PR speak about the whole thing, right? Saying like, oh yeah, you know, just saving face with Microsoft because he wants to leave on good terms with them and stuff like that. Because you never know, he can get hired again by Microsoft in the future. You never know about that stuff. But even if he does come out saying like, yeah, Microsoft is trash, 343 fired me, and like all this kind of stuff, like what people want him to say, it's never going to happen because it's not a good look on his end, because he's in the industry. Even though the game industry might seem pretty big, it's actually like, it's a tight-knit group of people. Like everyone kind of knows each other in the gaming industry. I saw this firsthand when I was the GameStop social media manager, like going to events and stuff like that. Like everyone reads those tweets. Everyone knows the big videos that we're talking about. Like I guarantee you, like devs have seen like Ackman videos. I guarantee you, like, you know, word gets around. You know, it's not like everything falls on deaf ears. Like you saw previously with actually just this week, Sketch kind of alluded to it. He didn't say it directly, but like we all know what he was kind of alluding to, right? I'll bring up the tweet here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There we go. Because he was saying, yeah, they're here. This last tweet they shared right before going into the weekend, right? He shared this on his Twitter page, saying, "What? Saying it feels it's been a particularly exhausting week. Hope everyone can unwind and go do what makes you happy. And please be kind to each other. Have a great weekend, Halo fam." Clearly referencing the news about like Joseph Staten being fired that's going around, community back and forth, and people like, you know, accusing Mintblitz of being like, you know, a clickbaiter and like bad for the community and stuff like that. And he's not. Like, I know Remy, right? We've chatted a couple times. I think I've had him on the channel a few times. The guy loves Halo, and he only wants the best. So when he hears information like this, he wants to bring it up because he's not trying to. I don't think Remy is really trying to be like. I think people are kind of taking Remy's video the wrong way because he's like, I'm hearing this. Let me share it with you guys and see what you think, rather than being like, this is factual news. Even though like he is kind of talking like it is in a way. Actually, let me pull up the chat here so you guys can see yourselves in the chat, so you know, like, hey, I'm being recognized. Because there's this recent tweet here between Ubernick and Mint Blitz here, a little bit of an exchange here I thought was more insightful to what is actually kind of going on with the whole thing. We see it right here. Saying, Nick initially just tweeted out saying, I like to make a point about the backlash Mint Blitz got yesterday over his video. Remy is an absolute diamond in the community. He wants nothing but the best for Halo, and that's an absolute fact. Sometimes videos can come off as negative, but that is not the end goal. Absolutely true. Nick nailed it. The nail on the head on that one. Perfect. And also, Mint replied to it saying, Illy, Nick. Saying like, thanks. For those wondering too, I DM'd Sorasia, proof to show I had legit reason to make the video, so he'll verify my information. It's why he took his tweet down. Because if you guys saw earlier, I mentioned it in my video, earlier, where Sorasia tweeted out saying like, oh, are we believing Haley now? You guys are that dumb? Which, I mean, Haley, if you guys know Haley on Twitter, I'll say they, because I don't even know if they're a real person actually. You know, certainly have their biases, and definitely has it out for 343 and tends to kind of twist information to make 343 look bad rather than actually just present the information as it is. And so there's that whole thing. But interesting that Sorasia deleted his tweet. And so I got in touch with a friend of mine who had a chance to actually look at the information directly. And he told me, he's like, no, it's legit. Like, Joseph Staten got let go by Microsoft, right? Like, Microsoft let him go. And so then I was kind of thinking like, okay, apparently he got caught up in that lineup of layoffs right back in the early 2000 and early 23, right? When that Jason Schreier tweet, right? Let me look that up here too. Right? Back in, what was it? Yeah, this news first broke back in January.
Oh, yo! I know what the ladies like.
Dubstep Star, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that support. But yeah, so we already remember this tweet, right, from Jason Schreier. This guy, like, even though his information is kind of insider stuff, it's always super credible. Like, basically whatever Jason Schreier says is true. He never tweets out anything that's like has no like legs with it, right? And this was back in January 31 of 23, right? And that's when all the layoffs happened. 95 people at 343 got laid off. It was mainly the campaign team that got hit really hard. And guess who was in charge of the campaign? Joseph Staten, right? He even said this in the recent podcast interview with IGN. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Something like IGN right here. I have a lot of IGN links. Wow. Chat. I don't think I have it on hand right now. But yeah, it was basically in an IGN chat with Ryan McCaffrey back in November 21. Joseph saying like mainly his role was keeping the campaign on rails, making sure everything was going as planned, right? But then he, once that news hit, right, that he was fired from, or not fired, but once that news dropped, right, like back in January of 23, that the campaign team got hit pretty hard, right? A lot of people got let go. That's when we heard Joseph Staten move back to his publishing role with Microsoft. So I don't know necessarily if the terminology fired is accurate. I think is that he got caught up in the layoffs at 343, and Microsoft, rather than letting go of a talent like Joseph Staten, he decided to they decided to move him over to publishing, which is where he was previously, right? As like a creative director kind of role. And then a couple months later, he moved over to Netflix, right? Because we had this tweet right here, right? Back just, 4 months later in April, saying that he's moving over to Netflix gaming, right? And I think even a tweet before that to see, he probably tweets too much. Let me see if I can find it on my little notepad here thing saying, actually probably back in 23 be under that. I save all my news links in Google Docs. So I have news links going back to 21, guys. Netflix Halo confirmed. Dude, imagine a Netflix Halo. You finally get the movie we all wanted, right? Let's see, Joe Staten. Let's see here. Can we find the link real quick? Reaction to the marathon, Netflix. Leaves Microsoft. There we go. I got the link right here. So, like, the news first broke of Joe Staten leaving Microsoft by IGN back in April of 23, April 7th of 23, right? So IGN had to kind of break this news, right? And then Joe Staten came out saying, hey folks, I am indeed leaving Microsoft. I'll have more information to share soon. But for now, I'd like to thank all my Xbox colleagues for all their understanding and support as I embark on a new adventure, right? So, like, he stated like he's still with Microsoft. So I think what really is going on, so like, yeah, Joe Staten did get let go at 343. That's factually what happened right there, right? And then he got a new job over at Netflix. And so I think people are using the terminology fired wrong. I think they're using as he got caught up in the layoffs. Microsoft then moved him back to his publishing position that he was at previously, because he kind of just hops back and forth between a lot of games when he was at Microsoft, and Halo was just happened to be one of those games. Because like, why would he state that like, I'm indeed leaving Microsoft 4 months after being technically fired? Because if you get fired at 343, you're not just fired at 343, you're fired at Microsoft. Like if Microsoft, because Microsoft, or sorry, 343 is just an extension of Microsoft. Like it's not like how it was with Bungie and Microsoft. Like Bungie was its own standalone studio, right? That made Halo, and Microsoft paid Bungie to make Halo. It's a different dynamic. I think some people somehow still can't make that connection somehow, but like there is no disconnect there with 343 and Microsoft. They're one and the same. It's just that you need to have a dedicated team that makes Halo, because Microsoft wants to make Halo games still, and they made a studio called 343 Industries and put people in place to make those games. So there's no cutoff. There's no difference between like it was with Bungie and Microsoft. It's all one and the same. So if you get fired by 343, you're fired by Microsoft, and so that wouldn't make any sense that if he was actually like fired to stay with Microsoft. It just, to me, it doesn't get that just doesn't compute to me, unless there's some weird, unless it's again this is maybe like some hidden agenda behind the scenes kind of stuff going on, where like we always see like a CEO saying like, I stepped down from my position. It's like, no, you got fired, and then because you did some ridiculous stuff, and then you got you decided to step down to make it look like it was your decision to leave when clearly it wasn't. Unless it's something like that, which I highly doubt it is, because I think this is more just like strictly business, right? Because Microsoft was divesting from Halo, right? With all those layoffs happening, it wouldn't make any sense to keep a talent like Joseph Staten on a project that you're divesting from, when previously you had him kind of jumping around between games. So I think, like my previous video, I think still very valid. I think a little bit of context is different now, because like, yeah, he was let go at 343 and moved back to Microsoft, and then he got a new job over at Netflix, right? I think that's kind of the whole deal of what's going on with that, right? I don't think there's really like, because like if you got like being fired means like cutting ties completely, and that's not what happened at all. I think a lot of people are mixing like being moved away from 343 and being fired, and they're like combining that together. I think people are just kind of saying fired to try to make it much more of a salacious title, right? To get eyeballs on the whole thing, rather than, you know, saying like, oh yeah, Joseph Staten was moved back to his Microsoft position. That's not nearly as entertaining, right, as saying he was fired by 343, right? And so it's like, and ultimately, like, again, I kind of want to touch back on like what I was talking about earlier. Like, what's the end goal with this entire story, right? I don't really see like why we so fixated on this, because if you think of it like this, right? Say he was fired, right? The worst case scenario happened, right? Everything you've heard, all the worst news you've heard is true. It's not going to change anything because all of this happened over a year ago now at this point, right? And I'll say, like, how do I want to phrase this, right? Because I want to make sure I say this phrase it correctly. It's like, it's not going to change anything at all. Like, even if Josephine was like fired from 343, because again, this was over a year ago, and that's like cultural change within the company, right? If like you're going to fire a guy like Joseph Staten and like they don't want to hire Bungie people, which is a whole nother discussion we can go into as well. But it's like, okay, worst case scenario, all of it's true. It's not going to change anything because like this all happened a year ago. It's not like Microsoft is going to change their methods of how they do business because of how we dislike Joseph Staten being let go at Microsoft, right? Like, that's not going to change. Microsoft is like, okay, cry about it, babies. We're still going to do our thing because they made the move that they thought was best for them. Then that's not going to change anything. But like, I think people are kind of like misunderstanding like what really happened, what's going on and stuff like that, rather than, I think that the terminology fired is just wrong. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So I think like the end game of this whole thing, it's like, it's a big nothing burger. It really is. Honestly, like, what, are you going to be mad at 343 still? Like, yeah. People are going to be mad at 343 or still going to be mad at 343, right? Even if Joseph Staten like left on his own accord, right? And it was like, you know, it's my time to ride off into the sunset doing Halo things. And plus, Joseph Staten saw the writing on the wall too, that like Microsoft is divesting from Halo Infinite. It's not going to be the vision that they had planned before the launch of the game. Why would Joseph Staten kind of like nerf himself and his potential and his career and stick with Halo? I mean, let's be real, guys. Like, Infinite flopped, okay? If it was a bust, it was going gangbusters. Like, people would have stayed on and loved the working on Halo. But then once Halo Infinite released, what happened? Everybody in every management position ended up leaving 343 within like a year, right? They released Infinite, and all the management's like, "Peace, I'm out." And up to Bonnie Ross, like people that were like, you know, working with like Kiki Wolfkill, she got moved over to Microsoft Publishing. She's not with she's like vaguely connected with 343, but like not nearly as like entrenched as she was previously. Bonnie Ross is gone. Basically every manager that was in charge of some major function within Halo Infinite is gone. So people keep saying like hashtag fire 343. Yeah, basically got it. All right. Like, it's a whole new team there. Now you have Pierre Hinsey over there, which is like, we'll see what he does. He's been extra quiet, like way too quiet for my liking. Like, I understand like the head of a studio, like not really, you know, being super entrenched with like the communities over there, because they're managing everything with Halo, right? They're not just the video game, even though the game is the main thing, but like, the creative directors are really like the head of the game. Like you had with like Joseph Staten, and before that, Chris Lee, right? Chris Lee was like the Halo Infinite guy. If you're gonna get mad about how bad Infinite was, get mad at Chris Lee, not Bonnie Ross, really, because Bonnie Ross is like, yeah, the game was like the main portion, but like it's one of the facets she has to control about Halo. There's a lot of things with Halo, like a lot. And so, it's like, I don't really understand the end game of this whole thing. And yeah, like I understand Joe Staten wanting to leave. If I was Joe Staten, I would want to leave Halo. Like I love Halo as well, and I totally understand like if it was on his own accord, why he would want to leave. But I think he got caught up. I think what happened is that he got caught up in the layoffs. They moved him back to publishing, and then he's like, man, I just kind of want. Maybe he wanted to keep working on Halo, but just the opportunities weren't really there. He didn't see anything that was really catching his interest at Microsoft, so he went with Netflix. That's my understanding of everything, right? And of course, we're never gonna know the full story because we need to hear from Joseph Staten himself, or like Bonnie Ross or somebody like that, big up like that, or Phil Spencer himself, right, to kind of say it. So I think that there is. Well, would love to talk about this live. Actually, Gamer Lee does have some information on this. We can bring him in on it if you guys want to hear, because he saw some of the information directly, so he was kind of like the source I was talking about. Here, Mr. J Lee, I'll get you. Let's get you on Discord here. Yeah, like Infinite was just a complete mess, and it was like I understand like anybody wanted to move away from that game, like get it out and then just kind of go on with your day. You ready to call it, Mr. J Lee? Hi, you in the call right now? Okay, join the call.
Yo.
Hey man, how's it doing?
What's it going? Hey, how's it going? Kevin Cool's Chad. How are you doing today? Good afternoon. I just woke up, dude, and I saw you were alive. I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'll come in here and say hello.
You definitely sound like you woke up.
Yeah, no, I woke up. I didn't take my copium today, so I'm totally not coping over this shit. But basically I wanted to let chat know, like, or anyone was watching, like I brought Gamer J Lee in the chat because he's the guy who actually saw the information like direct. You said you saw it directly, right? Yes, I saw the information directly. I can't say anything, but here's what I'll say.
Because you want to keep your sources like, confidential.
I could burn bridges. I could totally burn bridges, but this community already has a big enough hatred of me. I'd rather not piss anyone off first thing in the morning. So let me just say this. I saw my sources. It's a big name. It's an actual genuine big name when it comes to Halo and Bungie. But what I'm going to say is this isn't a direct source. It's a secondhand source, and it's just hearsay. It's just, hey, Joe told me this, and that's it. Because guess what? At the end of the day, unless we get some sort of contract or termination papers or a direct statement from Joe Staten himself, guess what? It's all going to be hearsay. It's all going to be stuff coming from, other sources. And unless someone is willing to put out the proof, which if someone pisses me off enough, I'll fucking do it. But the thing for me is that it's all just going to be coming from one source. And unless someone's willing to put out the proof, it's going to be a big nothing burger. But at the end of the day, what the hell is this source getting put out going to do? Like, what is it genuinely going to do? Okay, Joe got fired. Did 343 do something illegal? No. Did they do something criminal? No. So what the hell are we hoping?
Well, not necessarily, but also but hearsay, like word from another person can definitely be legitimate, but it's like depending on who the source is and where, like what their connections are, hearsay can actually be legitimate though. So
yeah,
I wouldn't put off to the side, they just or discard the information like that. But you're saying like the source that you saw it from is legitimate. Like they don't have any vested interest to lie to get likes and views and stuff like that. Even if they were like trying to spread, are they the kind of person who's like out to get 343?
They are not an anti 343er. They are not a social media. They're very much tied to Bungie, and they're very close to Joe. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right. But kind of like what we were talking about, and we talked about this when you first told me about this information. It's like, even if worst case scenario, right? Everything is awful. What's the end goal? Like, what's going to change from us knowing about this information?
Nothing. Because right now the ship is sinking. Even if they prove that Joe Staten got fired, it's just going to cause the ship to sink faster. It's not going to bring Joe back. He's like, I got my money. Fuck y'all bitches later.
Well, I mean, we all know like Joe loves Halo, right? Because he helped create the whole dang thing. But like with Infinite, right, the writing was on the wall by that time. By with through Microsoft divesting from Infinite, right, cutting out the campaign team, and then soon after that, right, we had like our season 4 and 5, and then we went to operations. But of course, like with things like with Halo, like it's a large ship, right, and it takes a long time to turn. And so like even though we did get like season like 4 and 5, which were fantastic seasons for Infinite, like that was already put in plan by the time Joe left. Like all this stuff is like 6 months in advance. This stuff gets planned out, like what content's going to be there. Basically everything is kind of like, they try to wrap things up right before like it goes live, but like what's going to be in it, what kind of content, how many maps, how many modes, things like that, all set in stone like 6 months in advance. And so like the work was already done basically, or in motion by the time season 4 and 5 came out. So like people might be seeing that disconnect, right, of saying that like, oh, like, but they released Joe, but then like Halo Infinite kept going with seasons. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But like I said, it's because all that work was already done in advance by the time Joe already left.
See, my biggest things with the seasons is, and with Halo Infinite in general, is the fact that when it came to the content they were releasing, the modes they were releasing more in particular, these are modes that should have been there at launch. We can all agree on that. Infection should have been there at launch. All this stuff should have been there at launch. Juggernaut's not even a baked-in built game mode. It's a fan creation that maybe 1 or 2 343 devs, from what they've admitted, had involvement in. 343 isn't the one continuing to create for Halo. They are relying on the community, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We rely on the community. They make the best mods, they make the best content, they make the best maps. But God, what are we paying this company for? Just to continue the services and keep them online?
Yeah, it's oh man, it's like I got like right now. I definitely feels like it's just like the community is owning Infinite right now at this point, which is like kind of makes sense. Of like I said, like because like we all know like 343 has moved on from Infinite for the most part, right? Like they're just kind of keeping Infinite alive and just kind of running. And we don't really know when the end date is for Infinite. There is one, we just don't know it yet, but they will never say it until like the week of, right? Because if they say like, hey, we're cutting support in Infinite at the end of June, people are just going to drop off. It's not going to be, and like it's going to be bad news no matter when you say it. So just wait till the end to say it, really, and then when it's actually more applicable to people to kind of keep people more engaged over time, right?
Yeah,
but
and that's how it's going to stay.
But yeah, like, but to kind of round it back over to Joseph saying kind of what we're talking about here, like. Again, like it's not going to change anything if the worst case scenario is true, because like that's Microsoft that made that decision and they thought that was the best move for them at the time. And so like it's not going to make like we all know Joseph Staten got fired, right? Horrible decision by Microsoft, right? But they're going to continue on doing their own thing. Like they're a multi-billion, mega billionaire company, shoot, maybe even trillion at this point. I don't know. Like they're not gonna like care that like we're all mad that like our favorite developer got let go from a game that they're not really like they want to keep going, but like are not really that like invested in anymore, right? Like that's nothing's gonna change. They're still gonna rely on contractors for like development because that's just how Microsoft does business. I mean, yeah, like basically people have always screamed like fire 343, but like I said earlier, that basically happened because all of management left as soon as this game dropped.
I remember making one of those videos and being extremely blunt about it. And, like what's funny about this community is I care about it, but it's just like some days they're on your side. Some days they think you're, a totally different person. And what's funny is I like for me, it wasn't even that that Mint got the video out there, and I watched the video on stream, and I called him out on a lot of things with those videos, the 2 videos he came out with, because there's no sources. The only source he ever showed in that video was Late Night Gaming, which my opinions of that.
But even in like late nights, like he might have some insider kind of connections, but I don't know.
think-
But his stuff would, I know he's not like a legit, like an only source to show, which is, I think Remy, like Remy's information was accurate. I think just the way he presented it,
right,
could have been a little bit. I think the way he conveyed the information didn't come off as legitimate as the information actually is.
Right, exactly. It's that he can't show sources because he doesn't want to burn bridges or upset people, and I understand that. I respect that about Remy. The thing that upsets me the most about this whole situation, and I said this in my stream, is that how people treated Remy. They went from, oh, he's, you know, a pillar of our community, he's a diamond of our community, and I have to 100% say Ubernick was right. He's very much a diamond of our community.
Absolutely.
And
I love
then
Remy.
turning him into, oh, he's a Halo hate channel. So anyone who's
yeah, right, dude.
Right. Anyone who's made a negative video about Halo is a Halo hate channel. Hidden Xperia has made a negative video about Halo. Oh,
I've made negative videos. Like everyone has.
Yeah. Everyone's been brutally honest at one point or other in their life. But because people read the titles of his videos and they're clickbait, they're good clickbait, they're not misleading clickbait, but they never click on it. Guess what? They think he's nothing but a negative channel. Well, hey, go over to my channel. You'll see some real negativity, guys. Come on.
I mean, there was you had quite a hot streak there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've kind of simmered down, you know, in my old age.
But even then though, so like think about this though, like if Remy was really that hated on, right? If people really hated Remy's video, man, I'm looking at the like to dislike ratio on it right now.
It doesn't.
He has 33.3k likes to 711 dislikes. So it's like what? Like a, I don't know what to do the math. I don't know, 85% like ratio, 90% like ratio. So like if it really was that bad, right? People would have disliked the video. So I think it's more just like a lot of people, I think a lot of times in the Halo community, we tend to platform a lot of people who are just louder than they need to be. And I think the negativity really comes through quite a bit compared to like what the actual narrative is actually about what's going on. Like if people really disliked Remy's video about the whole thing, they would have disliked the video, right? And it's definitely far majority of people like the video. Again, we should cite that yes, that dislike thing that they show on YouTube isn't 100% accurate. I'll let you guys know about that. But from my experience, right, because I have it on my browser, right? And I can see my actual ratios of likes and dislikes on my end as a creator. I will say it's pretty accurate.
It catches up, and it's been at 7-11 for a couple days now.
Like the ratio lines up.
It's dropped off. Yeah,
the ratio lines up. It might not be. It's not the exact number. It's not exactly 711 dislikes. Probably some more, probably some less, or whatever, or probably some more mixed in there. But like, the ratio of likes to dislikes is accurate.
Right.
So now don't get caught up on the exact number, but get caught up on the ratios, whatever it is. So I think that's the main thing we also need to kind of, you know, provide more context to this entire discussion. But the Mint Blitz is the worst Halo channel. Inferno. That's just wrong, dude. That's factually wrong.
See, I've seen worse. I know the worst Halo channel. That is definitely not it.
Yeah.
The thing for me with Mint is he does a lot of things to provide news and information. Did he screw up one story? Yeah. Did he not share the information that he supposedly has? Yeah. And does he deserve to be said, hey, you fucked up, move on, get on to the next one? Yeah. But everyone's allowed to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And guess
I mean,
what?
I've made mistakes too with my videos. Sure,
Right.
it happens kind of all the time.
Yeah, trust me, it happens. So for me, it's like, I don't think he's a hate channel. I think that
Absolutely not.
I think the dude made one simple mistake and couldn't give the context, even though he wants to. And
I wouldn't even call what he did a mistake. Even I think it was just more like he didn't word it properly. I think is really what it is. Because like, I say that's what it is. I don't think he made a mistake, really.
I said this in my stream. If he can't show the information, he shouldn't have made the video. If he could show the information, then hey.
Well, he
so
doesn't have
be
to
it.
show it, but he can say it, kind of like how you told me, the way you said it was like, okay, this sounds pretty legit.
Right. It sounds pretty legit, but here's the problem with that. I still don't have proof. So that could basically make me look like I'm spreading misinformation because you're going off of me. And hey, my credibility isn't the best in this community either. So they would probably write me off like they do Haley.
Dude, Inferno in the chat are saying I hate all of Mint's videos of him cheating and passing it on like legit skill. You think Mint's cheating? Like actually cheating?
Okay, here's the thing, and this is Mint has said this. His actual gameplay is not cheating. That's a lot of cope, Inferno.
Yeah.
Secondly, whenever he does those things in single player, they are majority wise skulls that he does in combination to get the effects that he's looking for.
Also, I think he's kind of referring more to like the clips he gets like in multiplayer and stuff like that. But I
Okay,
think,
so-
I mean, I think he might use like a VPN or whatever to be able to connect to servers so he can actually just
If
play the
that's
game.
cheating, then oh god, we're all screwed.
But he
If you live in Europe, you're a cheater.
But he uses it more to be able just to find matches rather
Right,
than like, because like you see
exactly.
people in Call of Duty use a VPN, but that's so they can connect to like, I don't know, Indonesia and like play against people who aren't that good at the game, you know, kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Or like in Remy's case, he's using it just so he can play the game.
exactly.
But that's the reason why I think he does like I think I remember him saying like I think he might modify the single player stuff just so then he can like, you know, have grenade explosions be more and stuff like that to pull off these crazy tricks. But again, that's campaign. Who cares? It's an awesome trick that he did. Like it's not even like
Right.
it's a cool
entertaining.
trick. Yeah, it's entertaining.
YouTube.
Yeah. But like again, like if Remy was like a hate channel, right? Would we see like a lot of videos being like, oh, this is terrible, this is awful? Like I think he just kind of had a bit of a hot streak, right? With like saying 343 Industries disrespecting Bungie Halo developers, and then like soon after that saying Joseph Staten got fired.
Well,
And then the 2 days after the Joseph Staten video, right? He released a video saying finally positive Halo news. You know, so like he covers it all. Like Remy is a very legitimate guy. Like he wants the best for Halo. He's not out here to get 343 or anything like that.
Right.
Heck, he's part of grassroots. Like he's he's in with
what-
them.
Watch his video whenever they did the new Halo announce. He is like, and I've said this in my stream, he's glazing up the idea of a Halo C remake. Like he is over the fucking moon. So
Anybody would be, yeah.
right. If like you guys think he's a hate channel, actually watch the content. Actually
Exactly.
watch it.
No one actually just watches videos. They see the thumbnail, they see the title, and they go, "Oh, this is awful."
And they wait for like the first like 30 seconds at most, and then they are like, "You're a garbage person." Dislike.
Trust me, for all the comments I get in my videos, I'm like, I literally talked about that in the video. You just need to have a attention span beyond 30 seconds. You won't believe how many times I comment saying like I talk about that in the video.
Yeah,
Because people just like see the thumbnail, they see the title, they want to give their opinion, and then just kind of bounce out. That's what a big majority of people do, actually. Like, just like I think for example, I could see like statistics on my end when people kind of like drop off on retention rate.
Yeah.
Like a really good retention rate after the first 30 seconds for me is like 80% people still watching. A lot of times it's more like 70% to like even 50% drop off after the first 30 seconds.
Right.
And that's not even like, that's not bad. That's actually pretty average. So there is, like I say, a lot of people kind of see the thumbnail, they'll see the title, they'll hop in, comment, and then leave. And that's all they end up really doing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I've seen that happen with a lot of content creators I like, and they'll make a negative sounding title. I'm like, okay, well, I want people to give me the benefit of the doubt, so let me go give them the benefit of the doubt. And I watch the video, I'm like, oh, that was a very good video. I'm glad I watched that all the way from beginning to end.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, it's and also like I think it's also just it's slow right now when it comes to Halo content right now. Like there's not a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about Anvil Operation. You guys excited about Anvil Operation? Huh?
Yeah. What are they even doing for? Has there been any like announcement, or has it just been that quick little trailer where it doesn't show anything?
It's just been the trailer right now, which actually is kind of interesting because like previously that wasn't the name of the operation. Because before
what was the name of it?
Spartan Surplus was the original name. Like that was revealed like earlier this year, if I remember correctly.
with it, if it was called Spartan Surplus, that sounds like a vehicle drop or a weapon drop in my
No,
opinion.
to me,
Could I
I
be
mean,
wrong?
to me, it sounds like it's like a liquidation sale. Is what
Oh,
it sounds like.
I mean, hey, you know,
Has Halo Waypoint been buggy for anybody else recently? Because I've been trying to use it and it's been
bro,
feeling.
that site's always been jank. I'm just gonna
Let
keep
me
it
see if I can
above.
find the announcement, because like when they showcase like all the different like operations coming throughout like the first half of the year, right? Like a pseudo roadmap that they did. It was called Spartan Surplus, and I believe it was supposed to start in early July, so this would line up. And then they just released this trailer like earlier this week, calling it Anvil Operation.
Well, they
which-
called it Hand in Hand too.
Well, because like okay, so like let me get the little lore out here for you guys here. Yeah, for some
Sure.
reason like I keep seeing this like on all the pages on Waypoint, like there's actually all the text is gone.
The fuck?
Like some update happened with Waypoint where like every news article I click on, like this happens with mobile as well where I clicked on it, so it's not just like my browser being weird. Like all the text in Waypoint blogs is just gone now, and I don't know if anyone's noticed this because it's been like this since like the Anvil Operation announcement.
By the
So,
way, I just went to the Anvil Operation YouTube video. The dislikes are getting heavier on that.
oh yeah, it got disliked pretty hard. Yeah, I forgot to talk about that. Yeah, like
because
you can see
it's nothing.
yeah, well, I mean, it's just it's a teaser, right? It's not supposed to like really give you all the
Well, yeah,
information.
the trailer is absolutely nothing. And again, comes out this week, I believe.
July 2nd.
Yeah, it comes out this week.
July 2nd,
and
yeah.
There hasn't been any information, and we're like 2 days away.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's an operation. You
Right.
know what's going to happen, right? But like you can see the likes are 1.4k likes to 2.7k dislikes. Again, don't get caught up in the numbers, get caught up on the ratio of that. That ratio is accurate. People are not happy with this. Saying 343 doesn't understand Halo. Bloods serving up literal nothing burgers. The wallet in hand update. I mean,
There you go.
There you go.
I like that comment. I would like that one.
I know that this was again the Operation Pass was already leaked by Bathrobe Spartan. Let's see if we can find it right here. But like the armor set does look kind of sick, though. I'll say that much. Like,
All right, let me look at it.
it looks
I
like
need to see
it looks like Shredder armor. Is what it looks like. So
okay.
it literally looks like Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles armor set. Like it's like
Yeah.
one and the same.
Right.
And it looks
But-
it's pretty sick looking. Like that's pretty awesome. But
By the
again,
way, can anyone afford that armor coating from the first thing yet? What is it? The exchange. Has anyone been able to buy that fucking thing?
I definitely haven't been able to because I remember
Same.
I worked out the math when that first came out. And I remember like if you completed the entire Operation Pass, completed every daily quest, and completed all your weekly challenges, it would still take you like 2 months of grinding, consistent grind, playing every day and getting all your challenges and everything completed. It would take like 2 months to earn enough Spartan points for that.
Yeah.
And I like how that information was brought up. I was kind of like I feel like I kind of made the charge for that, saying like, hey, these prices are kind of not fair, and like they just said like, oh, we're going to monitor that, and which was a way of saying like it's not changing, guys, come on.
Yeah.
Again, like I think it was also kind of one of those things that was meant to be kind of like a carrot at the end of the stick kind of thing to kind of keep people coming back over the course of the month. So I don't think it was supposed to be something that you can earn within one operation.
Been nice if it was a better coating or something that actually didn't look like dog water.
But the thing is, like, yeah, it was just like a kind of an average looking coating. Like it was a little
Yeah.
flashier because the colors were bright, but like that's really about it. And so it's like nothing really worth spending like your life playing Halo to grind out for.
Right, exactly.
I think that's kind of the main thing. If it was like that gold coating, right, that came out, like everyone bought for like $20 or whatever, like I did, then people would grind for that, right? That's like a good carrot at the end of the stick. But it's not, it's kind of like an average looking coating.
Yeah. No, like again, it's one of those things where I see the writing on the walls, and I've said this, and I know people like don't like this opinion, but in wrestling there's a phrase called how can I miss you if you don't go away? For me, I feel like we've gotten to the point where Halo needs to go away for a long time, to the point we don't remember it, for it to get better. Because right now, as long as 343 is in charge of this, I feel like we're going to just get drip fed content that we should have been there at launch. It seems like and maybe it's a lack of innovation in the industry right now. Maybe it's, maybe they're afraid to change things, because remember when they tried changing things in Halo 4, people pushed back, and then they tried to drastically change it back, and they kept flip-flopping on what they wanted to do story-wise. So maybe it could be a fear of backlash. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like what honestly, it kind of leans into what Todd Howard recently said in an interview. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I did not. If you want to give me a little idea,
it was an interview with Maddie Plays, and he was talking about how, like, when basically, like, when can we expect the next Fallout game? And he's like, well, we're doing a lot of stuff with 76. We got the TV show as well. And like he made it kind of sound like 76 is going to be the Fallout experience for the coming future, really. But he also kind of stated something that, like, he said he feels okay. It's okay for people to miss things, is the way he phrased it. And I think that's like a gift and a curse, right? So you're like, wow, it's going to be a long time till we get a new Fallout, like, single player game. But then it also might be kind of beneficial on Bethesda if they kind of, since they're kind of like leapfrogging between different games, right? They did Starfield, then next they got Elder Scrolls 6, and then after that it's probably going to be Fallout. But Fallout's like at least 10 years away from where we're at right now. Like we'll be in the 2030s by the time the next Fallout game comes out. But the thing is, though, like, since it takes so long between each new game and their series of franchises, that they can continually play off of, like, the nostalgia hype of, like, hey, remember that game you played 10 years ago? Well, it's coming out now, new graphics, and they don't really have to, like, innovate a whole lot when it comes to, like, how to change the gameplay up, because, like, as long as it plays like it did 10 years ago, people will just love it because it'd be new graphics and new story kind of thing, and some new mechanics here and there, right? Some quality of life improvements. But I think that's something maybe like the Halo franchise could probably benefit from. But I don't think it can really do that right now, though, because we're so starved for Halo content. We've been starved for damn near a decade now at this point, right? Because like with MCC, which released 10 years ago now, this year, that was a complete flop. Wasn't playable until about 2018, 2019 when the PC version started coming out.
Yeah.
Halo 5, people were just like starved for content, even though, because like it was such a minimal release again, or when they first did like a minimal release, so it released stuff over time, and it was an unsustainable strategy according to developers that worked on it. They're like, no, that model that they did for like the pseudo live service back in 2015 just wasn't sustainable for them. And so, but we were like kind of like constantly like, come on, give us Infection, where's Forge, where's Big Team Battle? That wasn't even at launch. They never even made a dev-made BTB map for Halo 5, right?
Right.
And then what? And then 6 years after Halo 5, we get Halo Infinite, and rights a lot of wrongs, but then like the engine was just so difficult to work in that they couldn't keep up with the live service that they wanted to do. Right? There's so many problems with that game, like mechanically, that like it was just a nightmare to develop in. And so I think the biggest thing right now is like, really, I feel like time is of the essence, and I think we need a Halo experience sooner rather than later. I don't think we can't wait another 6 years between games. Like, we need something kind of like nowish. Like I'd say like 2016, like 2026, we need a new release.
Yeah, I would say that would be something that would be possible, but right now, Xbox, they were the ones that had the best showcase of everyone. Like out of everyone,
Xbox slayed.
Right, they were the only good one. Everything else, I left those streams feeling like I wasted time. But on that idea of like time heals wounds and time makes us miss stuff. Like, look at the hype behind Twisted Metal right now. Still, there's still a major drive behind the Twisted Metal franchise, where we haven't had a new Twisted Metal game since 2012. The show comes out. The show is absolutely a banger of a show. And everyone's like, well, when's the new title coming out? Well, then we find out they were working on a new title. It was going to be free to play, which is a big red flag, for a lot of people that know what Twisted Metal is and, how it's played. But they come out with that. And then they say, well, the free to play game is canceled. We have no plans to make a new Twisted Metal game. And now, all we have is the show. And guess what? That's not going to come out for years at this point. So a lot of us are just kind of, feeling that, okay, well, this was all for nothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. But it's especially with the state of the game industry right now as well, where it's been so up and down, and a lot of the upper management director position people overestimated what they thought how gaming was going to grow over the next couple of years. They just thought the 2020 numbers when everyone was stuck indoors was going to stay up, and clearly it didn't. Right, that's why we're seeing all these layoffs happen within the industry.
Exactly.
But what was the original topic we were talking about here? I feel we got a little sidetracked. Just Staten.
I think we've had some good discussions. I'm not gonna lie. I think this has been a good discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully the chat's been very interactive with this and giving their own opinions, which I may not agree with everyone, but hey, I respect that you guys are putting it out there.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate you guys. I might not be able to reply to everybody, but I see you guys in the chat, chatted up and giving your thoughts in, because it helps give us some good counterpoints that we might not think about as well while we're
live. Exactly. All right. Well, hey, I'll let you go and continue your show. I got some stuff I got to take care of. It was great talking to you, but I will catch you all later. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Gamer Julie. Appreciate coming by, man.
No problem. Peace.
Peace. So yeah, that's the source in on that whole thing. So I think he kind of echoes what I'm saying too, where it sounds the information sounds pretty legit, but what's kind of the end game with this whole thing? Ultimately, I think also it kind of lines up with being a bit of a nothing burger, where I think people are just bored right now in the Halo community, and they find anything that sounds somewhat interesting, they just jump all over it, and we're just kind of eating our own tail kind of thing. Sprint or no sprint in Unreal 5, resolve this now. Save us, Lord Kevin. That's one thing too. I kind of curious what the Unreal 5 remake, right? That we're probably gonna get at the Combat Evolved, right? Because let's be real, pretty much every leak we ever hear about Halo is accurate for the most part. I feel with the recent Joseph Staten news, it's a little misunderstanding of the situation and running with it rather than what it actually is, right? But I want to point to what Marcus Leto's mentioned about this Combat Evolved Anniversary 2.0 remake, right? Because I think what he stated, which was rather broad, but I think it really fits with what I would like to see in a Combat Evolved remake. Because personally, I wouldn't want to see a one-to-one recreation with it. I want to see something new with it. Maybe because I'm just a jaded Halo kid and I just want to see some new stuff with Halo rather than rely so much on nostalgia. Even though nostalgia is pretty much an easy W, and that's why they want to make a CE remake. But this right here, I think, really echoes what I want to see. Whereas Marcus Leto, the guy who was the art director, right? Co-founder of Halo, right? Co-creator. Saying, what if, because it was replying to Ryan McCaffrey saying a remaster of CE seems wild to me. I just don't get why they would do this kind of thing. 25-year-old game, they already had previously, but released on PlayStation, yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. But what Marcus Leto said about it, I think is really interesting, saying, it's what if cut missions, weapons, characters, and storyline elements were reintegrated along with more contemporary core mechanics that improve gameplay while remaining faithful to the original. Yes, that's exactly that right there is exactly what I want right there. I think I might even reply to this and yes, exactly exactly this. That's what I want, And then McCaffrey replied saying, "You're hired unless you've already been." But of course, obviously 343 doesn't want to hire Bungie people, even though they literally brought on Joseph Staten back during Infinite's development. But whatever. you know, actions speak louder than words. But that kind of makes you think, like, how would you improve the Halo Combat Evolved? Like, we had SPV3, right? They kind of did a little bit of this. They kind of like took C and just kind of expanded on it. Let me do SPV3 trailer so you can kind of see trailer to kind of show you guys what we're talking about here. Where like SPV3 was a really interesting mod where they kind of took like cut content, added it to the game, created some new areas and things like that, and kind of like it was kind of like almost like a pseudo, like a creative remaster in a way. Which I actually had a lot of fun playing SPV3. It was really cool, and they took a lot of weapons that were cut from Combat Evolved, made them functional, created new spaces, some new storylines here and there, some really great stuff actually, and absolutely loved playing this. And I think this is something that like they went a little more wild that I would like to see for a CE remake, obviously, but they kind of went off and did their own thing, made the kind of like their own game almost in a way with this, and it was a really cool package. And so I think something like to take, little bits and pieces from, right? Grab some cut weapons, some cut missions, things like cut enemies and things like that as well. I mean, we could even see like the Juggernaut, which was cut content back in Halo 2, which was conceptualized back in Combat Evolved, put into like the Flood Juggernaut is what I'm saying, put that into Halo CE, which would be really freaking cool, right? I think there's a lot that they could go and expand upon while also maintaining this faithfulness to it. I would also like to see but the thing is, like, again, the big question is like, are we gonna get sprint in the game? I think honestly, if you did like maybe a Halo Reach style sprint, right, where it's like an armor ability or something like that you can bring into it, where it's like temporary sprint or something where you get exhausted, just like so you can just check the box but not really change the gameplay a whole lot, right? Because like ultimately you're playing the campaign, and so you don't need to worry too much about like does sprint make the game unbalanced, right? Like you don't have to worry about that. I think maybe like having like a temporary exhausted sprint meter or something like that would work with Combat Evolved. Of course, then you could be like adding sprint into Halo C, people would lose their freaking minds. But I think like maybe add clamber as well as a mechanic, because like pretty much every game now, every FPS game out there has clamber. Let's see. Let me tell you, Halo C anniversary. What should we do? Walkthrough. Or so we're having like no commentary, so we just have some gameplay to watch in the background. There we go. Do this right here. Of course, now we can hit with an ad, obviously. Overwatch doesn't have clamber yet. Overwatch is a different game. It's a different game, though. That's a totally different game. But like, I don't know, like you could also get away without having sprint. I just feel like it would really date the game without sprint in the game. But then having like full on sprint like you have in Halo Infinite, I think would break the gameplay a lot. Because you can't really change. You don't want to change like how the characters interact with the enemies, right? Like you want the enemy combatants to feel the same rank as Combat Evolved, because it still holds up to this day. That's how good CE's gameplay was. And you can't really change that. If you have sprint, you can probably just run circles around people. You don't want that happening. I could see maybe updating the movement of Combat Evolved, right, where it doesn't feel so floaty or like you're on ice skates kind of thing, right? Tighten that up a little bit, right? So it maybe feel more like Halo Infinite's movement, right, where it's like real snappy, quick, like you can crouch and you can strafe left and right, on a dime kind of thing. Feel like really agile with it. Where Combat Evolved, it felt really weighty. Felt kind of slidey almost in a way. I'd also probably tighten up the spread on weapons in the game, which is kind of tough to do really, because again, that's part of the fundamental mechanics of the game. But like a lot of times when you're shooting that Magnum in Combat Evolved, it might not, you can line up a shot perfectly, but you're shooting it like, why is it not hitting the head, kind of thing. Well, it's because it has hidden bloom mechanics, and that doesn't really get showcased with the UI. So maybe you have a UI update that shows bloom. But of course, then people will be like, you added bloom into Halo. But there was always bloom. There was always bloom in Combat Evolved. It just wasn't showcased within the UI, so people didn't realize it really. So I think tighten up the spread on weapons, tighten that movement a bit more, add some cut weapons, add some cut missions, Maybe even do like a storyline of who was that one? There was like an elite that was but there was an elite that was like actually like hunting, like being like a headhunter on Chief during combat evolved. It's kind of like external lore stuff, but it'd be cool to do like let's play as the Arbiter type missions, right? In combat evolved. Of course, that would be a pretty heavy lift to like completely create new missions like that. But if they find a way to kind of like, grab some old content that maybe stuff like that was already kind of half baked or something, they can bring it and put it into the game as well to kind of expand on it. So like you have some new weapons, maybe some new missions that were like half baked. You could probably put in some cut content, things like that. That's something I think definitely could be added into a Combat Evolved remake. Because plus it would be a great chance to see what like Halo looks like in Unreal Engine 5, right? Because I think that's a great way a good launching point right there to kind of get the community familiarized with it, something, or with the new engine, right? And get themselves familiar with like, okay, some things might feel a little different in Unreal compared to Blam, right? That's mainly probably gonna be physics more than anything else. And things that you'd simulate within the game rather than like how tight the movement is, because I think you can tweak that pretty easily, honestly. And so I think that's something that I wouldn't really worry too much. I think more just like physics emulation, I think would be the thing to worry most about if I'm off base with that one. If I'm not, out of pocket with that kind of comment. So I played Overwatch last night for the first time. It doesn't have sprint or clamber. Yeah, but it's also like the maps are designed to be like a lane, right? And you kind of have like this tug of war kind of thing, right? That's totally different than what Halo is. Halo's always been like a game that's kind of been up there with like Call of Duty in like shooter mechanics. It's supposed to be kind of like, if you like Call of Duty, but you want it to be like in a sci-fi setting where you shoot aliens, you play Halo. It's kind of like, it's like the competitor right there. That's how I've always viewed it, right? But even though Call of Duty 4 was codenamed the HK Halo Killer, which is kind of funny to think about nowadays, right? That's even like a thing. But I think, yeah, there's like a lot you can do with it. But I think also you want to stay rather faithful. I mean, we saw this happen with Resident Evil 4, right? That remake. People love that remaster, like, because they brought that game up to the modern era. Because if I remember correctly, Resident Evil 4 was like an isometric still camera thing, right? And so you had to like change your movement based on like the camera angle and stuff like that. Where then they just moved to the third person to kind of modernize it a little bit. I didn't play I didn't play Resident Evil 4 remake before, but every account I've heard that like people just loved it, right? COD 4 was terrible. Inferno, come on. COD 4 changed gaming. Well, more Modern Warfare 2 did, but like COD 4 was a massive hit. Completely changed Call of Duty for the future. COD is a corridor shooter. Halo is an arena shooter. I don't know if really corridor is really the way to phrase it. I mean, honestly, it kind of is like an arena. I always view arena as in players on a map. They're in a confined space, like typically 4v4, 6v6 or something like that, and you play against each other. That's kind of how I always view it. I mean, arena, people kind of assume more with like weapon pickups and things like that, which COD 4 did have a weapon pickup like Halo-like mode as well. A lot of people forget about that one. Yeah, they have lanes to shoot through, yeah, like 3-lane maps, but also Halo has 3-lane maps now as well. Halo has more open spaces. Maybe for like the campaign, yeah. Like this mission in particular, this one, like perfect example of like pseudo open world, giving players choice of how do you want to go through doing missions. Like a mission like this was incredible back in Combat Evolved, back in the day. Like no one really experienced shooters like this kind of mission back in 2001. That's what made CE so great. Way more like Unreal Tournament than COD. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I should say that. Like, but I think like what the difference really is like how you shoot and like loadouts compared to weapon pickups. There's a lot of shared DNA between COD and Halo, in my opinion. I thought people hate what? No, people loved Unreal, or not, I keep saying Unreal. People loved Resident Evil Remake. Like, it was nominated for Game of the Year, if I remember correctly. Let me look this up real quick, because I'm pretty sure it was. Resident Evil 4 Remake Game of the Year. Let's see what this says right here. Trying to find some stuff. Yeah, it was nominated for Game of the Year. People love this. This is like the Game Awards, like the place to go for it. Resident Evil 4, Capcom. It's just a remaster or remake. Actually, it's a remake, not a remaster. Nominated for Game of the Year, which I just think is wild. Yes, yeah, it was a smash hit. People loved it. It revitalized the Resident Evil franchise so much. And I mean, this is the potential that Halo could have. If you make a Combat Evolved Anniversary 2.0 in Unreal Engine, put it on PlayStation as well as for their Project Latitude, this is like the potential Halo could have. Because people love Combat Evolved. The gameplay holds up. It feels dated, right? But the enemy encounters really do hold up. And so it's more about how can 343 tighten things up a little bit to make it feel more modern and not so sluggish and, you know, inconsistent that like CE can be, to where they can potentially get that, you know, type of experience, right? That would be exactly how you revitalize the franchise. So that's our hopes and goals with a remake of CE, to get like that kind of type of treatment. Of course, then you got to be faithful to it, but you also got to modernize it, and that's a really fine line you got to ride, especially when it comes to Halo. But I think it's possible. I think it's very doable. The potential's there. They just got to be able to do it, you know. And as we all know, with 343, execution has been the biggest issue when it comes to them developing Halo. Because they've always had like massive ideas of what they wanted to do with Halo. I always felt like 343's biggest issue has been being too ambitious with what they want for their titles and going by enough more that they can actually chew, right? Because like what was like Halo 4, I think was like their only game I think they really fully released that was like a game that they wanted. But of course we all know Halo 4 was, well, Halo 4. Right? Sheesh. But like but then we had like Halo MCC, complete flop, you know, completely busted at launch. And then you had Halo 5, which was drip fed content, which was a pretty good release, but like we lost a lot of great features along with it as well, especially with like armor customization. That was kind of like, you know, you had like reach level customization, and also Halo 4 had great customization as well. And to go to Halo 5 where all you could change is like your helmet and your body, it's like, bro, what? You know, we're taking a step back in that situation. And then the lack of content, right? Like no BTB, no Forge at launch, no infection, like all these modes that people keep talking that they want back in the release of Halo were not there. And then you get Infinite, another kind of drip fed bit of content that's like, you know, again, like especially with Infinite, they bit off way more than they could actually chew with that game, because completely reworking the multiplayer, completely reworking what we thought of what campaign can be in Infinite with like an open world style campaign, which honestly, I thought the campaign turned out pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. But it never was a game where I felt like I really wanted to go back and play. But maybe that just could be because like there's so many great games out there nowadays. I don't really go back and play games. I just kind of play it one time through and I move on to the next thing. So it could be a little bit of that, why I didn't play Infinite's campaign another time through. And then completely reworking the Blam engine from the basement up again. Like that's huge overhauls that they were doing with Infinite to make it into something. Again, we showed another example, buy enough more than they could chew. And it's a constant thing that's happening with 343. And I really hope with their next experience, they have a really focused idea that what they want to do that's obtainable within a certain time frame that you can actually accomplish. That's my biggest concern with 343 making a game, because the stuff that they can make ends up being pretty good. Like what's there is good, It's just that a lot of times it's missing things, or we have to wait for some things to come out, or it's just completely cut, you know? What's up, Teleporter? I see you in the chat there. Thanks for coming by. I wanted to finish my point before talking to the chat there. So that's my opinions on the Combat Evolved remake. I think it's very obtainable. Highest potential, we could get like Resident Evil 4 level treatment when it comes to a remake. That it could just one game could completely revitalize Halo. Maybe if they even added in like, you know, a firefight mode or something like that. What's that buzzing noise? Hang on, there's like a really loud bassy buzz noise that's going on outside. Hang on. I think it's someone's engine or something outside. That's someone's probably just working on their car. I was like, what the heck is like boom, 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 like a dubstep wub happening outside my house? I'm like, that's loud. I think it's just someone's car. But yeah, you can like make a firefight mode or something like that, or Combat Evolved, but like expand on what a firefight can be or something. You know, there's a lot you can do with it. It just depends how much of a lift that they're willing to do for this. I would expect it to be not too heavy of a lift, right? But heavier than just like, you know, put a new coat of paint on, but lighter than like completely reworking everything we know about what Halo Combat Evolved can be, you know? I think it's somewhere in between there is where I think we'll get like this, and I will absolutely buy it and I will absolutely play it. And you never know, if this does really well, we could get another remake, Halo 2, then Halo 3, because it's been long enough, right? Halo 4 is my sweetheart. Being the first Halo, I vividly remember the hype for it. Bought it at midnight release. Loved the narrative as well. As much as the gameplay wasn't true Halo, it was silly fun. I guess that was one thing true with it. Like it definitely did a good job in silly fun. Like that's where Husky Raid came from, right? Community matches within Halo 4 is where Husky Raid came from, if I remember correctly. Or it might have been Halo 3 or Reach. Actually, I think it was a Reach thing, Husky Raid, right? They got I remember it getting popular in Halo 4. Halo 2 and 3 are coming to Unreal Engine game as content updates. It was leaked last October. What? Really? Okay, let me look this up then. Halo UE5 2025, 26, 27. We have a Halo 2 Unreal Engine. Let me just look this up real quick. Like Halo 2 MP remaster on Unreal. Where'd you hear this information from, Bob? Feel free to share a link in the chat if you can find it. It just says October 23, so this is what you're talking about here, possibly? No, it's nothing right there. Kev getting raided? Am I getting raided right now? Oh, you're talking about like outside? Don't give him any ideas. Check your IG messages. IG messages? Dude, who messages on IG? But I gotta mention, there's this really funny thing I saw with, I think it was T-Pain showed his like Instagram messages. And he had like so many famous people like hit him up, like wanting to collaborate. He's like, dude, what the heck? Like, he's like, I think it was like Cardi B or something like hit him up, or like somebody else like that level of popularity, like hit him up on IG messages about like wanting to collaborate. And he's like, I just did not know I had messages on here. He's like, what? Let's see here. It's under general. Requests? It's under requests? I don't have any requests. Are you sure you messaged Kevin Kulex on Instagram? They just wanted the details, Kevin. Yeah, right? My dad is Marty O'Donnell. Dude, Marty has gone so far off the deep end. It's like, I just want to unfollow and block him so badly. But I'm just like, I really shouldn't, just because, like, in case he has something to say about Halo, it could be potential content, right? I mean, this helmet I have right here is I got Mario O'Donnell's signature on it, but like that and like Steve Downs and Jen Taylor got signed my Halo 3 Legendary helmet. But like, dude, Mario O'Donnell just needs to shut up sometimes, you know? Seriously. But yeah, he's a wild one, man. But I do appreciate everyone checking out the chat. Checking out, hanging out in the chat. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to tap like, follow. Also, make sure to tap like on the stream. Helps out a lot when it comes to us getting into the algorithm and all that good stuff. You know how it is here. It's YouTube stuff. It was an internal beta weeks before it was known. I sent info to you. Is that a D2 Ghost in the background? Oh yeah, definitely is. I got that PAX West a few years ago. I think it was like 2019, I think it was, or something like that. They had a bunch of like pretty cool like Destiny like, what's the material that's like kind of like a softy kind of material, but it's hard at the same time. I don't know what to call it, but they had like a bunch of like weapons and stuff like that, and I was like, oh my god, I wanted to buy that Thorn so badly. What happened with Marty? He's just becoming like a super right-wing weirdo. And that's really about it. Dude, if they did like Halo 2 remaster and they made like Halo 2 demo playable in the bundle or something like that, that would be so sick. You haven't heard much about that since they first announced it. Apparently, it was like apparently the whole like but the dig site crew is all just kind of community people, just kind of working in their free time, getting around to it when they can. I would love to be able to play through that though. Oh, actually, if you want to see visual kind of style of it's loud. If you guys want to see like what graphic quality could look like when it comes to Halo being on Unreal Engine, don't need to look too far to one of my most recent videos that freaking popped off, dude. We had like almost 21,000 views on it, which is amazing for me right now for doing Halo content and other stuff. But Caleb Nekomenish, if I pronounced his name correctly, recently released this video out, and I made a video about it, talking about it. This is what Halo. This is just like a fan project. Someone's kind of making a little game that you probably more like walk around in a little bit. Yeah, this is the guy right here, and he's taking some tips from like some of the key like graphic designers and 3D artists in the Halo community that basically made Halo in Unreal Engine 5 kind of do like a derelict ship that's infected by the flood kind of horror kind of game kind of thing. And so like this is just like, again, this is just like one guy just kind of putting the stuff together and making like a fun like fan project out of it. I saw a lot of people kind of ripping in the comments like, it looks like Roblox. This is awful. Like, I would never want this. I was like, guys, this is a fan project made by one dude. It's like a fun, like, demo game to kind of just, work and stuff. Like, look at this. This is what one guy made in Unreal Engine 5 for something themed in Halo. Imagine a whole team working on that. Like, this would be incredible. If they brought that to, like, Combat Evolved, like, this is kind of visual quality. I'm sure they probably have to tone it down a little bit for just like console play, but still, like, the potential is there, dude. For Combat Evolved on Unreal just looks sick and hopefully play well. So much potential with it. What did I say here? Let me say, well, someone said something. Nathan, to kind of catch up a little bit, I'm planning to cut that out into a video. I'll probably release it tomorrow or something like that, or Monday. Actually, tomorrow is Monday, so I'd probably release it then. To kind of going over, to cut the stream up into like a video to kind of talk about the information, kind of solidifying, like, yeah, Josephine did get let go by 343. But I think it's more people misunderstanding the terminology of being reorged compared to being fired. But apparently, it's we have some semi-credible sources, or actually very credible sources talking about this. So it's like, it's probably what we're hearing is true, but I think a lot of people are being more salacious than it really is. And I think ultimately it's a big nothing burger. But again, like I'll have a video releasing tomorrow going over all the stuff that we talked about today, because it's a lot. It might be like a 30-minute long video, but it'd be worth listening to. I leaked the info to about 5 YouTubers then. I got screenshots as proof. Bob, would you be able to link me on Twitter? Yeah, send it to me on Twitter. If you can. Or Discord. I have a Discord as well. I prefer Reach visual art style and aesthetic. I hope they bring back that direction. Yeah, Reach was... that's peak Halo when it comes to art style, in my opinion. But Infinite did a pretty damn good job, though. Like, Infinite's art style was really good. A lot of stuff, like Master Chief's armor in Infinite, like, that's the best armor Master Chief's ever had, in my opinion. I love the assault rifle. The battle rifle looks fantastic as well. The commander looks pretty cool, even though it's a little more generic. But like, there's some really good art design and weapon models and stuff, and just like overall Halo feel within Infinite. Like, they nailed it. There's so many parts of Infinite they nailed, and so many parts they just like dropped the ball on, man. It hurts. Infinite will forever be like the game that should have been. You know, so many players were promised the sky, but then just kind of didn't get that at all. Yeah, send me a DM on Twitter there, Bob. That would be the easiest way to do that. That or Discord. But I mean, yeah, if they're looking at the remake, it's kind of one of those things. If you're looking at the remake CE, then you're probably going to go on to remake 2 and also remake 3. That's easy money, easy W's, playing on nostalgia once again. And I just hope that while they're banking on nostalgia, that 343 can also make something that's new and exciting. But again, that kind of just comes up to whatever they decide people want. Honestly, I'd be totally fine with just like a multiplayer game mode that's like really big and cool, like Global Battle being remade in Halo or something like that. And that's like the Halo mode that people play or something. Wait, Hero, what are you saying? I think the gameplay was good for which game? Like, which game are you talking about? Halo Wars art style is more Halo than any 343's games. I miss Ensemble. But that was a good one too, as well, yeah. Infinite? Oh yeah, Infinite, great gameplay. Again, like the biggest issue with Infinite wasn't even really the gameplay or the campaign, really. It was just like performance issues and the difficulty of working in the engine. It was just really tough for them. Like, to pump out content on live service when the engine just wasn't even ready to go live is what really killed Infinite. Because imagine if we like, yeah, it'll release a little bit. Oh, someone lit off a firework. Murphy! Murphy! Hey! Murphy, come here! Hey, I'm gonna calm my dog down. Or, okay, he's fine now. Yeah, people just been lining up fireworks. It's getting close to 4th of July. Yeah, campaign was great. Gameplay was great. Well, yeah, and they lit up another one. He's like, there's loud sounds. I'm scared. Sorry about that, guys. I hope the same. That's also my big concern with the next Halo experience, right? Like, if they make a new Halo game that releases like in 2025 or 26 or whatever, right? Like, it can't play like Halo Infinite though, because if it does, if it looks like Halo Infinite and plays like Halo Infinite, people are just gonna be like, why don't you just update Infinite then, right? Even though on the back end, they're doing a new engine, they got new systems like that, new management, that like on the back end of developing Halo, it would be a completely new experience. But if they release like the gameplay basically being Halo Infinite, people will get mad and just like, why don't you just update Infinite then? So my biggest fear with the next Halo experience is that they'll have to find a way to justify its existence by changing the gameplay in some kind of way, which then would make it maybe not as fun as Infinite's gameplay. That's my biggest concern with the next Halo experience. Because front on the consumer side of things, if they just like make it play like Halo Infinite, but like it's a new game, people were like, but the promise was 10 years with Infinite, and now you're breaking our promise, you know, kind of thing. So they need to find a way to kind of make it different in some kind of capacity, you know? That's the big thing about it. And then that's my biggest concern, is that like, what are they going to do to make it play like Infinite? Because people love the gameplay of Infinite, but then not have it be exactly Halo Infinite, you know? That's the tough part about the whole thing. I was bummed I was a little bummed at how short the story was for Infinite. Felt weird for a modern open world game. Well, the idea was to have new playable spaces coming in as like campaign DLC. Like that was the original plan. Like even if you go on Halo Infinite's website, it said campaigns with an S. You know, so there was planned to be more stuff coming. Like it could be like, oh, a new island was found and it's a snowy environment or something, you know, and like, oh, it's contained. Oh, it's or this new island is infected by the flood. You know, they set themselves so well with that kind of style with Infinite, but then, you know, Infinite's always going to be the game that should, you know, it's going to be like people are going to be like, man, we had so much potential and it was wasted. Like that's what Infinite's storyline is going to be. Has anyone talked to Karma? Like the Halo, old Halo Pro Karma? Does Halo Wars 2 still have an active player base? I mean, people are always gonna be playing it if it's online, but it's small. It's very small. If you think Infinite's player base is small, which you mean Halo Wars 2 is like basically non-existent. We won't really know, right? But yeah, there's enough people worried because since Halo Wars 2 is like what, max amount of like 4 players in a game or something like that, you can find people to play with because you don't need like big lobbies, and like maybe ping isn't that big of an issue on those type of games. So like you can find matches. With a game like Halo, right, you need to find 8 people that have within your region that are in good ping, that are in the same kind of skill level as you. That's where, like, you know, things get kind of tough to find matches, even though the player base is much larger than Halo Wars 2. Well, RTS isn't that popular on consoles, so it makes sense to be as small compared to Infinite. That's also pretty true as well. Just because RTS was super popular back in the 90s and early 2000s, but it's kind of lost its way. Now it's kind of more of like a niche, dedicated group of people who love it, but not as like widely appreciated as it used to be. Because back then, like RTS, like back in the 90s and early 2000s, like that was like the main platform you made games on. Like Command and Conquer, Age of Empires was massive at the time as well. But some games like that are still out there that are popular, right? There's like there's like those. I kind of, even though it's not really the same kind of game, but like I would almost lump like simulation builder games like SimCity and stuff like it feels very similar in the way. Maybe Infinite will get old enough to where people will mod the campaign map into a standalone multiplayer experience. No. Because you need to be able to get access to mod tools, and that's not really a thing with Infinite. I think people are able to like tweak things here and there, but like it's pretty difficult and not really a thing people are doing or able to do, really. Oh man, I'm searching on my For You page on Twitter. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. I hate it there. I never use For You. Does anyone use the For You page on Twitter? Because For You, I feel like it's never actually for me. It's all just like the most ridiculous clickbaity, rage bait stuff you can possibly find out there, and I just can't stand it. I don't know. I just like whenever I find myself on For You, like I scroll down for like 2 seconds and I'm like, all right, I'm out. Yeah, Carbon Karma. Ben Jackson, has anyone heard from him? Not really heard much now. I just saw your thing there, where it's saying like super spicy take. Fan nostalgia is what's killing Halo. It could be. I don't know if it's really killing. It could be. But I think it's that like since Halo has been trying so much to try to do so many new things, that it's we just give us what we like kind of thing, And right now I think nostalgia is just like what you need to play off of and like whenever like anything is ever made outside of the games, like when it comes to like toys or when Halo's referenced in any other form of media, they're always referencing the Bungie days when it comes to Halo. They never reference like Halo 4, right? And whenever that does happen, people are like, oh, does it have to be like 343 era, Like what, like, it's like, I wish Halo wasn't so stuck in the past, but it's always going to have that shadow of the Bungie era. I tried playing a new multi-team mode in Infinite. I haven't played it yet. But the wait was more than 40 minutes, so I ended up playing, like, yeah. That's the weird thing, too, like, the multi-team. Like, do we really need, like, a combat workshop for multi-team? A game mode that's been in Halo for, like, since Halo 2 or something like that, right? Like, I understand, like, maybe with Infinite, things are a little different. You need to kind of work out the, the bugs a little bit here and there. But it's like, do we, like, just work on it and just release it, And like, I know people scream for like, oh, we need multi-team in the game. Like, that's such a core mode experience, but like, they put it in the game and then no one plays it, If people really wanted multi-team, they'd jump in and play it. I tried playing it, couldn't find a match, and I gave up. I think I waited like 4 minutes to find a match. I'm like, okay, this ain't worth it. And then it's just like, but then like, multi-team isn't even like that interesting of a mode because it's just, you're just playing Halo Slayer, but this time with more people to shoot, and more people to shoot you. I don't know, it's like I don't really find it that exciting of a mode. I never really even liked multi-team even. I think the majority of people don't really care for it. I can understand it being fun. I can probably be a really great thing for custom games to really kind of create different modes and stuff like that within like Forge and stuff like that. I can see that the potential there, a lot of potential there actually to actually be fun. But to play like multi-team Slayer, like I don't care. Play multi-team King of the Hill, Oddball, don't really care. If anything, I'd find it more annoying. Let's see what Michael C said. That small part of me hopes to see a Destiny-style game with open and social world. The random armor and weapon drops could make sense to ship hub. Or you're saying you kind of like see like a open, like a social space where you can kind of interact with people and stuff like that. I think that'd be a cool thing. Yeah, especially that'd be a way for everyone to kind of flex their armor sets and stuff like that, which I think people always like doing. Multi-team was more fun in custom games back in Halo 3 days. Not very many people played it. Yeah, multi-team was always like a super niche mode. Like. I feel like putting resources into putting multi-team in the game. I would have to feel it'd be more for the forgers to kind of create something. So then, like a year later, you can implement like a fun Forge created mode by the community in one multiplayer or something like that. Whenever they do the next Halo, I at least want global chat enabled. That and lobbies. I miss the social experience. A global chat would be awesome. Of course, it definitely opens itself up to toxicity. I think what they would do, if they wanted to put that in, you have to have it off by default, though. And then people who want to engage with it can turn it on. But honestly, for me, most of the time I turn off global chat. Especially in like games like in Call of Duty, they have it. I turn it off for the most part. But I do turn it on for DMZ back in Modern Warfare 2. Absolutely, you need to have voice chat on because that was fun. Warzone's another one you can have voice chat on. That makes it fun. But like for regular multiplayer stuff, it's like I don't care what anyone has to say. Even if you did call outs, it's not even going to be that helpful. most of the times people are just most of the times when you hear people playing like 4v4 Halo or 6v6 Call of Duty, all you hear is, man, that guy's an asshole. You're like, I don't care. I don't care. You're mad that you died in the game. Like, no one ever provides any kind of information that's somewhat useful to me, or no one says anything that's remotely funny that makes me want to keep playing with you. Like, everyone's just like pissed off the whole time that they suck at the game and they wish they were better at it and they feel embarrassed that they suck at the game. And then you have that come through the game. It's weird. Dude, Agufish in the chat. What's up, dude? Thanks for coming by, man. Yeah, if you guys don't know Agufish, man, this guy makes some amazing guitar content. You definitely need to check him out. His short game is on point, that's for sure. Thanks for coming by, man. I was actually chatting with Pete last night on Twitter because he's like, "Are you going to Bana's show?" Because he just played like last night here in Seattle, and I would have totally gone, but I played a show last night, so I was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm already performing." But if it wasn't for that, I absolutely would have gone to Bana's show last night. But yeah, I saw Bana live his last tour that came by here. Turn it on every time for you, BB. Thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, no, yeah, voice chat definitely has its benefits and definitely has its disadvantages. Like I said, for like the arena stuff, don't really care. Like I even turn it off during, ranked matches because I'm just like, it's just people getting mad at each other, and I just don't want to hear it. But if it's like Call of Duty Warzone or it's like DMZ, something like that, or like if it's like a Search and Destroy is another one where you want voice chat enabled, like a single life mode like that would be really fun. Like if they brought Breakout back in Halo, that's a mode you'd want voice chat back on. You know, because there's highs and lows and it's really fun. Especially just talk trash to people. That's the thing too. I feel like trash talking online has gone, like the quality of it is degraded so much that people are just like, especially in Call of Duty, I noticed like the trash talk is awful. Where people are just like, they just say what you said to them, but then they just do it like in a derpy voice. And it's like, oh, you got me, dude. Like, get creative, man. How's that, Mr. X? I'm sorry, late Daddy Kev. Was it Joe was fired or what? I think Joe was more caught up in the layoffs with Microsoft. He wasn't real, but I think he was more rotated to a different position in Microsoft rather than completely fired. I think people are kind of mixing that whole thing up. Sorry for bothering you, but I wanted to. Oh, no. Blacklist that person. No, boo. Why you guys? I can't believe how many people in specifically Twitch, you get spam bots to be like, gain new followers, click this link. Like, it has to work, right? Enough for them to keep doing it because they've been doing this for like 10 years. Like, who clicks on that link? You know? Like, please hack me. What do you think of Battlefield style Halo game? I heard a lot of fans on Reddit wanting something like that. That would be awesome, actually. If they did like a Battlefield style game, which, just think of it like this, like, let me open up like Halo Wars 2 gameplay, no commentary, something like that, right? We'll have this playing while we chat away about it, because I think there's a lot of potential with that, and that's something I think would be really freaking cool. Because basically, we have it, that we have like an idea of what we could do with it, right? With Halo Wars, I think that's the game where they had like the PvP aspect to it. Obviously, you want to do base building, nothing like that, but like at this scale, you could have people in like a large scale battle playing against each other. I talked about this in a previous video, actually, about like if we just took like Halo Wars 2 but made it first person shooter without any of the base building, but like basically the way you would play is like kind of like how you would earn points almost in a way like you did like in Battlefront 2. Actually, I think a better example would be Battlefront 2, I think. Let's do this. So Battlefront 2 game multiplayer, no commentary. So I think the way Battlefront 2 did their multiplayer, I think it's something Halo could absolutely do. Battlefront 2's multiplayer was so good, dude. It's such a shame that I got caught up in the whole microtransactions things, but this game literally killed loot boxes, which is the sacrificial lamb, I guess, but for the greater good of the gaming industry. Click here if you want to meet singles in your area. But like the way that Battlefront did it, right, is that everyone kind of spawns as like your low tier characters, right? You know, you're kind of spawning, it's basically like stormtroopers and your low tier, like, which would be like Marines, right? And then from playing the game, you earn points for the better you perform, the more points you capture, the more kills you get, the more points that you earn while playing. You're able to utilize those points to then make that, you know, upgrade yourself. So you can play as like an upgraded commando, right? Compared to like a regular, why am I blanking? Republic soldier, right? And then if you bank up a lot of points, you can play as a hero character, which would be like Yoda or Anakin Skywalker or Luke Skywalker stuff, or Kylo Ren, stuff like that. That would be like playing as like a Spartan or something like that, or like playing like a Republic Commando. You would be playing as like an ODST, and you earn these points by just, you know, doing things in the game, getting assists, spotting characters, capturing points, getting kills. And so it's like a really cool mechanic. I think something that Halo could pull off. They did try doing something kind of similar previously in the past with Halo. It was like kind of a hacked, worked out game mode called Global Battle with Halo Reach. So I do feel like that was more supposed to be kind of like a PvE style mode rather than like a PvP thing. But imagine like basically this, but then with Battlefront 2, but then transfer over to Halo, because you have vehicles in this game, right? You have hero characters, you have like mid-tier characters you can upgrade as well. You have loadouts, so you can like spawn with like a battle rifle, right? Or an assault rifle, magnum, silenced SMG, things like that, you know? And then you maybe even play into some of the attributes that some characters might have, right? Where like a Spartan, you might be able to jump higher, take more damage, you know, play into that aspect a little bit more. And then you can also do the same thing, but like on the banished side of things as well, where you can have brutes, you know, Ungoi, you know, elites, all the different types of factions. Bringing some new ones like Sanshayun, like warriors and things like that would be a really cool thing. Like there's so much potential with that I think it would be a completely new experience to do in Halo, and I think people would eat it up, absolutely eat it up. But the thing is that like a game mode like that would be so massive and so complex that it would basically cannibalize a lot of other aspects of Halo, because I feel like this would be like the game that you would play, right? You wouldn't really play, like, I don't even know if there would be a possible campaign to go along with it. You can see like right here, right, with this, like you can spawn in as like an AT walker. You have a vehicle you can spawn in with as well. You have like mid-tier commandos you can spawn in as, and then you also have your hero characters, and that's something I think you can absolutely do with Halo. And that, which I think that would be something that I think people would absolutely love to do. You know, you have like Wolverines, you can have Hornets, Banshees, all player controlled. You have like, I don't know, 100 plus players or something like that. That would be pretty freaking wild to be able to have something like that with Halo. That's what I would do. If I was gonna make another Halo game, I would have it be just a multiplayer experience and have it be just that mode. As that way you can at least get a game out sooner rather than later. Still working on campaign in the background, but it might disconnect the two. But honestly, I think what it would do is like, oh, this year it's a multiplayer release, next year you get the campaign release and things like that. Well, you're not able to DM me on Twitter. It should be open. Let's see here. Here, let me send you a message here. Here, I sent you a DM there, Bob. If you want to send it to, I should be able to send it to me now. But like they kind of touched on this a little bit with Global Battle back in Halo Reach. Global Battle, Halo Reach. It was in delete content from Halo games. Yeah, so this was like back at the before the release of Halo Reach. They did like a panel kind of showcasing some cut content kind of stuff. Like or it might have been post Reach or something like that. I can't really remember, but they showcased some stuff like they did like space battles. They tested out to kind of see what they can do with that kind of stuff. Like a water vehicle was another thing they tested out here. That's something that 343 or Bungie was testing since like Combat Evolved even. They were even talking about like doing like assassination moves here on like on hunters like that. That would be freaking sweet to be able to like plant a grenade on a hunter like you do like you can with like a tank. That's super freaking cool. Giant prototypes or like just like giant character modes for like a skull or something like that. But they went forward a little bit more and they showcased this really cool concept, global battle, which was supposed to be just like this huge, large-scale battle, super cinematic and stuff like that. You can see how early it was in development because they're still using like Halo 3 assets, the Halo 3 battle rifle and things like that. But you can try to see like, yeah, again, this is all just like super cinematic. Like just make a bunch of explosions and this would be like the vibe that you would play as. But look at this playable space that you would have, right? Again, super bare and open because it was play testing back in Halo 3, between Halo 3 and Reach. But like something like this would be exactly what I'd want to see happen with a standalone Halo multiplayer experience. Because like if you develop just this game mode, I think it would have enough legs to be its own game. And I think people need to, I think the Halo community and Halo gamers as a whole need to be okay with just like a game being a singular mode rather than like the entire total package, right? Because that's insanely tough to make. It's super expensive. And like it's kind of one of those things where you put all your eggs in one basket and when it doesn't pay off, you lose a lot, So you need something that's a little bit lighter lift, especially for Halo nowadays as well. Yeah, global battles look sick. Yeah. And imagine if they did like Banished versus UNSC, and then each character had their own kind of attributes, that were kind of like, tweak the gameplay a little bit here and there. Kind of like how they did with like Invasion, right? With Halo Reach. Halo Reach Invasion. Let me type in the gameplay here. So you kind of see what I'm talking about here. It's like with Invasion, right? The great thing about Invasion is that it played into the differences between the Covenant and the UNSC. And I think this is like the little tiniest little prototype of what really can be accomplished with a mode like what we're just talking about, with like a huge like Battlefield style open scale kind of just large format kind of game mode. And something that you can just take this idea basically and just go wild with it, bring in some new species, other playable species. Because like I hate playing against elites in Halo multiplayer. I know people are like, no, bring back playable elites, but it's like what, 10% of people actually use it. This would be a great way to, one, have playable elites in the game, and also have it be functional within the gameplay, right? That's what I loved about this mode, is that it played into the differences between the Covenant and the UNSC. The Covenant characters have different abilities, different type of mobility, different weaponry, and they try to balance it out in the way to where attacking and defending, is somewhat balanced to where it's like a competitive match in some kind of way. That's what they need to do with like a Battlefield style Halo game, where basically it'd be more like a Battlefront style game mode. That's what I think would be fantastic. It'd be a completely new experience, but also playing off of the familiar aspects like with Invasion, but then expanding on that, giving us something new. Because I just want something new to do in Halo, man. We've been playing basically the same game, for the longest time. Like I don't really get excited about playing 4v4 Slayer anymore. Like if it's a new game, thanks for YouTube ads, that's cool. Like if the new game is just like kind of like what in our Infinite launch of just being like 4v4 Slayer, big team battle, here's Forge, like a game, basically you're just like recreating the same game that we've been getting since like Halo 3 effectively, and just trying to find new ways to create that. I want something new and exciting to get people to like, help the community move past such this hard, strong sense of nostalgia. Once you get something new, people will gravitate to it, and I think this is what they can do. We've seen, Battlefield, people love their Battlefield games. People love the Battlefront series. It just got cut off at its knees because EA just doesn't know how to handle the Star Wars franchise at all. But that's why I think it would be so great to be able to do something like this, go large scale with it, and have it be like its own standalone game mode. That would be amazing, in my opinion. That's what I would like to see. Of course, that's just my opinion. And those will just playing into exactly what I want. And the thing about Halo community, it's so wide. There's so many people out there that like their own style of Halo that it makes it pretty tricky to try to make a game that's for everyone, but also making it something within your vision of what you want Halo to be. So that's something I personally like to see. Now, do you guys in the chat, do you feel like that's something you would want to see for like a Halo game? Like if it's just a standalone multiplayer, basically like Star Wars Battlefront, but in Halo, or like basically like Invasion, large scale Battlefront style. Like that's what I would like to see for like a standalone game. Like, yeah, you would be missing out. There'd be no Forge. There probably would be no theater mode. I would love to have theater mode, but it might be a little too taxing on the system. Or like if there was, you know, there would be no campaign or anything. That'd just be just that multiplayer experience. But I think that'd be something that'd be really freaking cool. Now I'm totally okay with that. I'll pay $120. Oh no, Escape! Don't tell me you're one of those pre-order Andys. Come on, have you learned? Have you learned nothing? Why wouldn't Microsoft make all these games? Well, one thing is because Halo hasn't really been successful since like Halo 4's opening sales. So it's been like a good decade of just kind of flopping with Halo. But I just wish, yeah, there's so many things that we could do, man. But yeah, I think that's a great thing to do. Like you can, because it's like there's so many things. There's so many different ways you can go about doing Halo stuff, man. So many different ways. Hey, you sent it out on Twitter. Let's see what Bob had to say. We'll scroll through here real quick. I can't really read that though because it won't let me zoom in on the pictures. Really sweet to bring back dual weapons again. I could take it or leave it. I don't really care for dual weaponry. Yeah, send some zoomed ones if you can. You forgot Master Chief Collection, that the only good thing 343 did was solidify Bungie's legacy. I mean, Master Chief Collection wasn't good until 2019 though. Well, there is that as well. I need something to drink here. Well, there is that as well. Like it's I was joking with some people saying like, yeah, it's gonna be the 10-year anniversary of Master Chief Collection. So you can, I was thinking, why not remaster the remaster games, right? So you can have it just as it shipped 10 years ago. Everyone would be like, no, stop, don't do it, you know. Oh, the squirrel just kind of came by my window right here. Let me see, I'm trying to read it. It looks kind of blurry. Let me try to read this here, Bob. But that's just a Halo Insider thing, though. Like, yeah, they were doing Halo Insider flights back then as well. That's a thing. That's always been a thing. And then the thing you're showing me, there's like the season 1 like UI of Halo Infinite. Almost they were doing something like they were looking to do like a Halo 2 multiplayer within Halo Infinite, which would be cool. Yeah, try to replicate that, but I feel like that'd be really similar to what Infinite's gameplay originally really was, though. We need Staten back. Bring him back. I don't know. Yeah, I would love Joe Staten to stay with Halo, and that'd be awesome, but I just don't really ever see it coming back, you know. Yes, that's what the MS internal beta other guy leaked the info to me. There's proof that it was okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. It'd be cool to have like a Halo 2 multiplayer mode in the game. And like that's what they did with like back in Halo 5, right? They had the Halo 3 mode in Halo 5. Like, yeah, why wouldn't they try to replicate that in Infinite, right? For like maybe like Halo 2 or something. Or even Combat Evolved. They had like a Combat Evolved like remake playlist in Halo 5 as well. Yo, Halo VFX, thanks for coming by, man. Actually, we're just showcasing Caleb's video that he posted about his little fan project kind of game they put together. I saw that he mentioned you as like one of the guys he worked with to kind of like get like maybe some assets together and things like that, right? And I was like, he's working with Halo VFX. He's working with the right people then. But it was way before we knew anything about him. I mean, yeah, it could be the case. I mean, Infinite's old news, man. Everyone's looking. 343 is looking past Infinite. We need to move on past Infinite, you know. But yeah, I doubt it. Joe would ever come back. Of course, that's the whole thing of like. Actually, there was one thing I wanted to talk about that as well. Actually, well, let me get respond back to Halo VFX before that one. Oh yeah, that was all good. I just gave him one of my flood biome assets. Nothing special. Okay, gotcha. But at least like he knew who to reach out to try to make it kind of look authentic, right? Wait, aren't you still working on a new project there, VFX? I haven't missed it, right? So I know once I keep seeing you like, tweeting out, like sharing like little assets here and there. I'm like, oh, he's cooking. Oh, he's cooking. You know. Or am I just misunderstanding like when you show like this kind of stuff, right? That's a good run. That's a good run animation. Yeah, the ODST trailer thing was so freaking cool. Like, look at this, man. This is so freaking awesome. I just want to watch it again. It's so good. Put the headphones on for this. I need the audio for this one.
Keep your head in the game. You might have a softer landing this time.
Yeah, right.
Like
Remind me, how many times have I had to cut you out of your pod now?
Dude, the audio
All that blood rush in your
is so
head
good
can't
as
be good
well.
for you.
People like all the visuals, but the audio is so good in this as well.
Give those spirits and give me a ready check. All green? Green, sir. Don't want to be late for the Christmas party, do we? Ready up.
Aye, sir.
Remember.
Yeah, when the Halo VFX is cooking, it's like a long-term crock pot. Like you gotta wait a while, but when it comes out, you know it's going to be good.
Troopers! All the gates of hell lay below us, claimed by the banished, and masked in a blanket of white and red. We must not forget
this is so
that we
good.
are hell jumpers, and hell is our domain. We will punch through that barrier, land at our LC, and push into our objective with divine righteousness. We are the stewards, and we are looking green and very, very mean. Hoorah! Hoorah!
Dude, hell yeah.
That's one beautiful rig for an alien planet. Almost feels like home. I wonder what we'll hit on the way down.
Dude, yeah, this is so good, man. And like you nailed like the camera shake as well, and like the visceralness of the whole thing too. And it's like,
Maintain course. We need to push through. Heavy anti-aircraft fire on the approach line.
oh my god, like that. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Thanks. We're changing course. Everything's compromised, and we're rerouting now. Stay on my town.
Oh my god. God, this is so good. Bro. It gives me chills every time, man. Oh, chills every time I watch that, dude. It's so good. Oh.
I'm gonna give away this.
No, shut up. God, I hate YouTube ads. They're so repetitive and so just like annoying. Oh, dude, VFX, dude, that's so good. It's just so good. This next episode I thought would be like 3 minutes maybe, but the intro is already 1 minute 15, and the rest of it I think is at least an episode of like Charity Falls is going to be like 10-minute worth of watch. Nice. No mods here, so snipe the spam bot. Yeah, do so, please. Make Halo VFX new head of development, starting making 500K a year. Yeah, but VFX does his own stuff, and he's pretty successful on his own end, right? And don't you work with like Disney and stuff like that, right? Or am I thinking somebody else? There's a couple of guys out there in the community who do some really great like 3D animation work. Oh, dude, that was so good. Actually, what's the other one? I'm gonna watch the that Halo 3 one you did as well. Well, I want to see that one too, because that was just so good as well. Yeah. The Full Circle cutscene remake. Oh, beautiful, dude. Absolutely amazing. Sure, I will watch this too. So good. Just that music alone, I'm like, ah, memories. Dude, this is the Halo show we deserved.
Unfinished. I'm not exactly sure what will happen when we fire it.
We'll head for the portal. And we'll all go home.
It's so good. Oh my goodness, dude, it's so good. Can you imagine, dude? Oh, so good. So good, dude, so good. Oh, I got a year. If only that was the Halo show, you know, something like that. Hey Kev, did you notice that Infinite's performance has become extremely poor recently? In the main menu, it dropped to like 60 FPS, but tab back to the main menu and get like 155. And some Husky Raid maps are unplayable. I did see that there was an NVIDIA update that just went live. Go like Halo support Twitter here. So maybe you might need to update. I'm assuming you're probably using NVIDIA graphics cards. You might need to update there. What was it? Right here, yeah. So it says that NVIDIA has released an update driver that addresses a crash issue with launching Infinite, but it could also maybe help out some other bugs there too. I mean, I haven't really noticed too much in the way of performance issues with Infinite. I did notice that like I was getting like some oddly low frames while I was just like in the menu, but when I was in game, I was still getting like 144 frames, like no problem, like I usually do. Yeah, because that update just went live like a couple days ago. That also helped you clearing the cache out and stuff like that. Actually, I want to see, there's X Defiant, right? Wasn't it? Didn't they have like a new thing about like a new season or something like that coming out? Or season 1 starting out here like next week or something, right? I'm curious about that. Does Xify not have like its own channel? Season 1 reveal 2 weeks ago. Well, I'm on point with that. Whatever. I was hoping to get something new, but is there any kind of like new trailers or anything that recently came out when it comes to gaming stuff that seems kind of interesting? I'm like totally blanking on like new things to talk about. The same issue with the Xbox Series X when I tab back and forth from the main menu. Then we get some frame drops and stuff like that. Huh. That's interesting. I don't know what's going on with that. I guess I need to stay tuned to all the details, right? I mean, it's not really anything that's really worth making a whole video about, though. Oh, did you guys also see this? So there is going to be a pretty cool reveal in August during Gamescom for the new Dune video game, Dune Awakening here. They just let us know, they told us, well, back on the 11th. On the 11th is what they told us? Oh god, this news is old. Never mind. Boring. There's just nothing, man. Is there anything new going on? Or am I just like losing my mind? Let's see. We go on the Video Game Chronicles. No, or not. Just type in like video game news. Is there anything new that kind of just recently came around here? I feel like there's gonna be something. What Reddit? Reddit got something to talk about? Steam users have spent $19 billion in games they've never played. What? What is this? What is this? I mean, I'd believe it. I have plenty of games in my Steam library that I have bought and never played. Of course, usually I get them on Steam sales. Let's see this here. Yeah, Steam users have spent $19 billion on games they have never played. Whether it's Diablo 4, Cyberpunk 2077, Red Dead Redemption 2, or collective Steam pile of shame is worth enough money to buy a country. Oh my god, this is so true. Let's see here. Because like right now, right on Steam, if I open up Steam, there's a sale going on right now, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna get me. You're gonna get me to spend money, aren't you, Steam? You always do. You always find a way. And they get these like really great sales a lot of times. Like Battlefield 2042 is 90% off. You can get it for $6. That's worth it. You just sit down and play it one night. That's worth it, you know? It's a perfect time to jump in and get games that you haven't played in a long time. Forza's 50% up. Very much, checks out, right? Yeah. Forza, yeah, like for all the Forza games, or if there's been like a single player game you've wanted to play and never really jumped into it, like Doom Eternal, right? On sale for $9 or $10 right now. It's or Fallout New Vegas on sale for, right, I guess it's $10, not really, it's on sale for $5. Like this is what, or like Battlefront 2 on sale for $10. I thought it was worth a pickup. Let me see what else is out here. Elden Ring's even on sale for 30% off. I did see, yeah, Baldur's Gate's on sale 20% off. Usually this game hasn't really gone on sale very often. And I'm like, oh, you're gonna make me buy Baldur's Gate, aren't you? But then my friends are recently trying to convince me to get into playing the final shape. I'm like, ah, dang it. Cyberpunk's currently 50% off. That's a perfect time to jump into play Cyberpunk. So like this is where like these sales come in, right? And you end up like, or like play a Witcher game, right? Look at this. $4 for The Witcher 3, which people widely hold as like the best game in the series. Like this is where these Steam sales really come in, man. So let's read the article though and see what they really say here. Yeah, it's just like kind of personal experience. So out of all the registered Steam accounts in the world, only 10%, which is about 73 million in Steam ID Finder database are public. So only 10% of the Steam user base is actually public. Based on data from those accounts, we calculate that collectively there's about $1.9 billion worth of games that have been purchased and never played even a single time. Times that by 10 and you roughly get the account of like $19 billion. And I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch. Obviously, that's not exact science when it comes to that type of number, right? $19 billion. But it does kind of check out though. Yeah, I'd be like, that's believable. Because if I just look at like my library, right? It's kind of embarrassing, honestly, my library. See if I can show like total games, like collections. No. How do I just view all my games? Wait, how do I show all my games? Wait, how do you do this on Steam where you're able to show your entire library? You used to have like your entire library here on the left side, but it only shows games I have installed. Is it this I can check out? So there's all my single player, multiplayer, cooperative. Okay, I think it's just that. So you can see like, that's not even in my full list. I have like way more than this. But recently, how do you like if I just click on all these then? Oh, yeah, that significantly shortens the whole thing. Dude, how do I just see my entire library? Because if I go to home, downloads then? No. Because I have a ton of games I've just never played. Okay, I have 100. It says I have 147 games in my library. And I'll be straight up, and I'll show you. I think there's a website where you can check out like your Steam time played. I think it's this one. If I type in like my Kevin Cool X, this should show like what my most played games are, and it's kind of embarrassing. Playtime. Oh, my playtime's hidden. Okay. Where do I see that? Dude. Like, how would I know what game to download if I can't find it? Multiplayer games are the worst. Dude, they kind of are. They're just way too engaging. They're way too much fun to play. Activity? Is that where it's under? No. Profile, content, inventory? No. Dude, how do I just view my entire games? Games? View games library. No, that's what the heck. I'm sorry, I'm like completely sidetracking this, but I actually like really want to figure this out because I was like, what if I want to buy a game and then I'm like, oh wait, I already bought it. I didn't realize because I can't see it, you know? Try to read chat, see what it says. This is how Steam users end up spending $19 billion on unused games. Yeah, right. Alright, we're gonna look this up like Steam, how to view entire library. How to show all games in your library. Yeah, because I'm like, how do you view this? Hidden games, you can play, just view hidden games. And click ready button, switch to the, what's this link do? Took a screenshot, but then it's not showing up here. So I have like view hidden games. How do I view hidden games then? Hidden games. Nothing's hidden. Dude, how do I just view all my games? This is so weird. But if I type in like Battlefront, like I have like Bad Company 2, I got PUBG in there as well. So I could search for these. They just don't show up. Oh my god, this is really frustrating. Yeah, I'm trying to click on these icons right here like this stuff to kind of showcase. I just want to like be able to. I have 107 single games. I have like, cause I just can't really figure out exactly, but like, yeah, you can just see like on the single player games alone here, right? That a lot of these games I haven't played, like The Walking Dead, Uno, Sandbox Universe Legacy, Turbo Pug, Tribes 3, Tomb Raider. I have Tomb Raider? When did I buy this? Splinter Cell, Conviction, never played it. Original Splinter Cell, never played it. I don't know what the heck this game is. Super Meat Boy, never played it. Star Wars Old Republic, I think I tried to play it, but it was just too old. Episode 1 Pod Racers. Stick of Truth, I never played it. Elite Sniper V2, never played it. I have Psychonauts Unlimited. I didn't even know that was a game I had. Psychonauts as well. Payday 2, I've played minimal. Yeah, I played 3 hours of it. Payday, the highest, never played. Outlast, never played. I played through Mirror's Edge. I did do that. Medal of Honor single player, never played it. Like you can see, like, yeah, it could definitely check out. It's because these Steam sales are just so addictive, they make you want to jump in and buy stuff. Or even the games I do play, like Hogwarts Legacy, I'm still playing through this game. I'm 33 hours into this game. I'm still playing through it. I bought it at launch and I still haven't finished it. It's been out for 2 years. You know? Far Cry 3, another one, never played it. Played a little bit of Blood Dragon, that was fun. Doom, never finished it. But I played it for an hour. Deus Ex Human Revolution, I remember I bought this on sale a long time ago, like a really good sale. And then just never played it because I got it for like $3. Dead Space 2008, never played it. You have the Tomb Raider collection? Just Tomb Raider, I think. Clears that. Maybe it's like search, like Tomb. Yeah, just like the 2015 Tomb Raider, right? Well, I heard the collection was actually pretty good, but it looks kind of weird. I have some games I have started, but newer finished because I got bored with them and lost interest. Yeah, that's kind of my biggest problem. Like, it takes me forever to play through games. Like right now I'm playing through Hellblade 1. I started the Hellblade 1 playthrough last month. The game's not even that long. It's like a 10-hour game. It's taking me this long to play through it. Mainly because I've been so focused on doing job interviews. Now I finally got a new job coming around here on the 8th, so I'm super excited about that. Doing YouTube content, streaming, and then being in 2 bands right now. But I think things are going to chill out a little bit now with the band stuff. So I'm looking forward to kind of taking a little step back from that a little bit and focus on my own thing. So definitely excited about that. I'll definitely have some more time to game. But yeah, like I think I've had about 2 or 3 play sessions so far. They were both like 2 hours long for Hellblade 1. Because I wanted to do a video about Hellblade 2. But I was like, I need to play through 1 first. And I'm like, oh, it's not that long, right? It'll be an easy lift. I can play through it. Still playing through 1. But like, I remember it took me like a year to play through Red Dead Redemption 2. And then like I've played through, I've started the new character in Cyberpunk like 3 times, and each time I get like 20 hours in, I get distracted with something new. And now my friends are playing Destiny 2 again, playing the final shape. I'm like, oh, you're going to get me back into Destiny, aren't you? And then like the new Call of Duty game looks really cool, you know. I'm probably gonna play that. these damn games, man. I think but BBK Dragoon had a really good video recently talking about this, and I think it'd be a good thing to kind of watch, because he does a great job articulating like how like you can just like leave so many games unfinished. Yeah, too many games, not enough time, man. Yeah. How was it? I think it's like this one, how to fix your backlog. Because I completely vibe with this thing.
A Steam sale or a publisher sale, and you load up on tons and tons of great games.
Yep.
For the price of maybe one game, you leave with like 15 great titles that you've wanted. You start playing them, you enjoy it, and then a new cool game comes out.
Yep.
It's the latest multiplayer title. All your friends are on it. And you know what? Even though you've got plenty to play right now, you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to buy it. I want to play with my friends. I'm going to hop in. And you do. Some time goes by, and that momentum wears off. And for whatever reason, you don't go back to those sale games that you bought. All of a sudden,
Dude, that is so true. Oh my god. That's me in a nutshell, especially when it comes to anything that's not Call of Duty or Halo. I'll jump in, get like 20 hours into it at best, and then get completely distracted with something else. Especially since my game time is so limited nowadays as well. That like it's tough for me to actually like sit down. Like it's like I feel like with those games as well, like RPG or single player games, like I feel like if I don't, goddamn fireworks. Yeah, showcase that freedom. Murphy. Hey, you're okay, boy. It's okay. I'm here. You're doing all right. See, we're all here. It's fine. Hey, no. Hey. It's damn fireworks. But yeah, like, vibe with this so much right here.
a sudden there's a new hot game coming out that all your friends are playing, and you know what? Okay, I'll get back to these games I bought, my sale games, but I just need to play this new thing with them. And before you know it, another sale rolls around. And even though you've got so much on your plate right now, so many games you knew at one point you wanted to play, you're already thinking about all the other games that you want to buy on this next sale. And before you know it, your Steam library, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch library, whatever, is full of great games that at one point you really wanted to play, so much so that you bought them, but you just can't seem to find the will to go back and play them. Maybe it's the...
Dude, that's... speaking... I feel like he's basically talking to me in this video, I think is what it is. But that's the thing, dude. Like, so like basically, like I get all these games like on sale. I'm like, oh, what a steal. I'm gonna play these when it comes out. Or like I did that with like Doom 2016, where I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna play Doom. It's gonna be like my summer game I'm gonna play. And then I put an hour into it and never picked it back up, right? And then it's like, it's so hard for me to stay focused on these freaking games, man, because there's always something new, shiny, and fun that comes around. Like right now it's Final Shape. Final Shape is a new, fun, shiny thing that my friends are playing. They want me to jump on and play with them. I'm like, you know. Oh. But basically, he talks about like how you like make a checklist. So like make a list of games that you want to get through before you buy something new, right? Because those games, especially with single player games, they'll be just as good as they were then as they are now, right? Oh man. What can I do with all these cool channel points? You can utilize them for things. I can't remember actually, to be honest. I should have like suggestions of where you can use them in the down there in the options for you. But yeah, I don't know. It's like man. Anyways, yeah, right now like my checklist right now is going through Hellblade 1, Hellblade 2, and then finish up Hogwarts Legacy. And I really want to finish at least one playthrough of Cyberpunk all the way through. And then after that, I really want to play Baldur's Gate 3. It's currently on sale right now, but I'm wondering if like at the speed I go through games, like do I just wait till next year's sale? You know? I don't know, because then like the new Call of Duty's gonna come out. I'm definitely gonna play that this fall. Then Black Ops 6 actually looks kind of sick. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty hyped for that game. It's just like, yeah, it's a lot, man. But ultimately, yeah, I think it's, especially with single player games, I just need to go like, you know what, I can wait. We'll get around to it. And I think I just need to focus on playing less multiplayer games and just focus more on playing these single players. So like, yeah, I want to play Starfield. That's another game I want to play. Yeah, Starfield. Yeah, exactly. I want to play through Starfield. I want to play through Fallout 4 right now. I'm currently started to play through that as well. We have had some mods in. Were you ever a Destiny fan? Oh yeah, like definitely Destiny 2. After like the Forsaken expansion, I was all on board for Destiny 2. I played that like consistently for like 20 for at least like a year or two consistently after that DLC drop. Played it super well on PC now as well. Yeah. I think we're gonna call it good on the live stream here, guys. We had our chat. I'm definitely gonna chop up the Joseph Staten discussion I had earlier into a video. It might be kind of long, but I think it helps kind of provide a lot more context to everything about, all things about this whole Joseph Staten thing. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel. We'll have a video. We'll have it cut up tomorrow for you guys. And I just hope that. If you guys want to check it out, you can hear some more information about it. Because right now, dude, Halo news is so slow right now. It's so slow right now, man. It's rough. But yeah, it is what it is, Open D for D3 Bungie at the reset for a free to play world. And we'll see, man. I'm also looking forward to seeing what they want to do with Marathon. Sounds like they've been having their issues there as well. They have to wait and see, I guess. Well, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up on the stream. Thank you all so much for coming by. I'm going to do a few more of these streams next week as well, since I'm taking the next week off from my shitty job to get ready for my new job. Oh no, there's a summer sale video in my feed. I must not look. Right? Shoot, maybe I can make a video about that, right? That'd be a fun thing to do. Heck, I can make a short about it or something. Well, how long is the sale run for anyways? I'm curious. The sale runs home. Yes, okay. Runs until July 11th. Okay, so you got some time then. But yeah. Anyways, though. Thanks you guys all so much for coming by. I really do appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, make sure to tap like, subscribe, all that good stuff helps out with the algorithm. But other than that, guys, I'm going to call it good on the live stream. But I'll definitely get some more streams. I want to stream more consistently, though. Do more stuff like this, right? We're just kind of hopping on, chatting with you guys, talking about gaming, and doing what we can on the channel here. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much. Appreciate you all a lot. Get you we'll boom you out. And catch you guys all in the next live stream. Peace out, everybody.